guys, what's going on? This is Travis P11. I want to welcome you back to the channel. Well guys, today we're going to be taking this Industries FeatherUSA 45 ACP RAV carbine to the range. That's right, it's called the RAV 45. We're going to take this to the range and see how well it performs. I think what we're going to do is just a little bit of handheld shooting on the pistol range. And then after that, I think we'll move over and shoot some steel and just kind of see how it feels, how well it moves. You know, is it spot on for accuracy? Is it quick with its follow-up shots and so on? And then I think maybe we'll take it out and shoot a little bit further, maybe go 100 rounds or try to take it out beyond. So this firearm is on loan to me from Stan, the owner of SS Pawn in Lexington, Nebraska. And as you guys know, Stan is a sponsor of this channel. He does loan me firearms from his private collection. Take them out, shoot them, give you guys a range test, a little cleaning video and so on. And then I return it back to Stan. And yeah, I want you guys to give them a call. They'll give you some great prices on firearms, so definitely give them a holler and they will take care of you. All right, as for the carbine, okay, we're going to be shooting a little bit of PMC bronze. These are both brass rounds we'll be firing. 230 grain full metal jacket ammo and some Winchester white box, 230 grain. Just want to see how it shoots with ball ammo. You know, if this were my own carbine, I would have tried maybe some hollow points through it or maybe something a little more exotic in terms of grain weights and so on. But we just want to go with standard ball ammo. This is just a blowback action carbine, nothing fancy, but it is a very sweet design. Speaking of the design, when you actually see it in the videos, I will be shooting the same carbine, okay? The difference is that I'm going to go ahead and put the barrel shroud on it, and I'm also going to put the A2 buttstock on it. Nothing wrong with the wire stock, but it's going to be a little more comfortable, and I think maybe a bit more accurate to shoot with that buttstock because I'll get better placement of the firearm on me, a little more flexibility for adjustment to make it fit. I'm not going to be running any kind of optics on it or red dots or anything like that, just straight up plastic iron sights. Yeah, they are polymer, that is correct. And we're gonna see what happens. So, you know, we've taken it apart and cleaned it. I think it's ready for a good little range run, and we'll go from there. So there you go. All right, so let's go ahead and roll that range footage. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully the weather's gonna hold out for us at the range, and we'll give a little follow-up when we get done. All right, thanks a lot. Here we go. Okay guys, last minute update here before we hit the range. Barrel shroud is on, looks very cool, looks almost like a faux suppressor going on there. Problem we ran into is with this A2 buttstock. When you screw it on, unfortunately it does not align properly. Like, you can screw it on, but it over travels like an inch, so the stock is not lined up with you. And second thing about this, unfortunately this puts your cheek so much higher than the wire stock that you cannot use the iron sights, and that's kind of the whole idea behind taking this gun to the range, is seeing what kind of accuracy the original sights it was intended to use produce. So we're not going to be using the A2 buttstock, again, because of alignment and because of your cheek weld, or whatever you want to call it, the height of your cheek. The iron, this little wire rear stock puts it just at the perfect level to see across. So we're going to be firing it just like this as is. I don't know, I might just put a vertical foregrip on there for a little more stability, but that's pretty much about it. So if you don't see it all tacked out like the way I wanted it to, you know why. Unfortunately, this is also staked, so you cannot move this particular nut or whatever you want to call it. You can't tighten it or loosen it at all. It's basically stuck in this position, which is fine, but you're at the mercy of it lining up with the threads. So that's just kind of how it's going to run. So anyway, just want to let you guys know about that, okay? All right, hang tight. Here we go. Okay guys, so here's the situation. None of the magazines that I currently have are allowing the firearm to function properly. What's going on is it's firing the first round, it's ejecting the first round, and then it's not picking up the second round and pushing it in. So we're just doing some, I guess you can say, single action, single charge shots, just one at a time. And that was about 20, 25 feet. We're gonna go and back it up to about 50, 60 feet now and see what kind of accuracy we get. Now this is using iron sights. I'm putting the front bead about halfway up the red dot, so you can see how it's shooting a little bit low. And we will go ahead and take it back to 50 or 60 feet and see how it does at a longer distance. Just a simple 3-shot group. Alright guys, we're going to try for a little long distance here with the lead sled. That target below was me kind of sighting in the best I could. Iron sights are just a tad bit tough to use, so we're shooting Blazer and Winchester 230 grain, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, we're about 60 yards, so let's just see what she can do. Remember, I have to fire single shots. The magazines, it's not picking up the second round on the mags. So we'll disassemble and take a look at it and see what's going on, and we'll go from there. A little bit low and to the left. And again, we're mixing brands of ammo, not so worried about it. Not bad. It's moving the lead sled every time I shoot, but I've got the front sight basically just completely cutting up into the middle of the target. It's about a quarter of the way from the top right now, and don't really have a way to adjust elevation on this unless I was to like sand down the front sight, which I'm not going to do. So we're just going to take probably 5 more shots and just see what we can pull off. It makes it easy to sight it in because I just basically put the front sight in the same place every time. Alright, here we go. Oh, not good. Yeah, we had a light primer strike that time. Just set that right there. Let's try another one. Not having the best luck today. It's an awesome little gun, just not liking me very well. So, I don't know. It's funny. It might need maybe a new extractor, or it's hard telling at this point. I think we had a bullseye there, or a pretty good shot. Pull it back all the way, and then release. Ensure that it charges properly. Let's see. Let's try this. Let's figure this out. It's a tiny little red peep sight on here. It's not bad. It's not bad. Pulling to the right just a bit. I'm going to compensate here. Going to offset it a little bit. Let's raise it up. Alright, last shot. We'll go ahead and call it after this. about 60 yards, iron sights. And here we go, last shot. All right, that's it. All right, let's go see how she did. All right, so I'm gonna say this 45 ACP carbine is combat accurate. There's your spread. We're looking at about 5 inches from top to bottom. You know, I just didn't want to mess with the iron sights. I was kind of compensating there towards the end by pulling over the lead sled a little bit. Again, just having to do it single shot every time I have to pull back and move the sled a little bit to reload and recharge the firearm. Loses a little bit of consistency, but it can be accurate. It's the kind of gun that I kind of wish I would have put the red dot sight on it. So I learned my lesson when I came out today. I was just going to see how it would do. Accuracy right out of the box with the red dot sight, and that's what she produces at about 60, 65 yards. Okay guys, well we are back from the range. We literally just walked in the door, and you know what, not every range trip is going to go the way you want it to, not every piece of gear is going to function the way you hope it would, and that was kind of the situation with this FeatherUSA 45 ACP carbine. Ergonomics are not bad. Let's talk about the ergonomics for a second. It's comfortable to shoot, it's easy to shoulder, the wire stock didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. Charging handle is, you can get a decent grip on it, didn't run in or snag any of the rail when I was firing it. Trigger is light and very easy to pull, okay, but it's very flimsy feeling. It does kind of move in your finger a little bit because it's such a thin plastic, and I was trying to be really careful with it when I was using it. So let's talk about what happened. I was able to shoot 4 or 5 rounds with no issues. I probably should have kept track of that magazine because out of all the other magazines that I had, I ran at least 5 rounds for each one. I don't know what the deal is. What was happening is it would eject the first round, and when it would pick up the second round, I don't know if it was hitting the feed ramp or what the deal was, but it would close and then it wouldn't fire. And then when I pulled back the charging handle, it would eject the round, and either I'd have a light primer strike or it would wedge the bullet into the case. So I'm not sure exactly if the specs are out on this one or if the extractor's not functioning the way it's supposed to. Maybe it needs a new extractor. It's a possibility. It's had some rounds put through it. And so again, I tried all the magazines. So I did a field strip off camera. I took it apart. I took the bolt and the firing pin out and the recoil spring, and I also took out the front barrel, reassembled it, tried firing it again, and I had the same problems. So I could fire it single shot. You know, I would fire it, pull back on the charging handle, put it in a round, you know, charge the weapon and fire it. No problems at all. Would I buy one of these? That's always the big question I try to ask in my videos. If I knew I could get it running well, I would. I don't know if I'd rely on it as a primary defense weapon, being a blowback system. It's a little bit crude in its design, but it's still a nicely finished piece. From a collector standpoint, these are getting really hard to find, and you're lucky if you can find one for sale on Gunbroker or any of those other gun websites that are out there. And they're not going down in price. So if you want a pistol caliber carbine, my recommendation would be to go to one that's maybe AR-15 based, because you're going to have easier accessibility to parts and so on. Maybe something a little bit better, newer engineering, because this is a really old design. It's a very, very simple design. I mean, I'd buy one from a collector standpoint, but that's pretty much about it. So yeah, that's about it for this one. We ran 100 rounds through it today. Had fun with it, even though we were doing the single, the single shots. Accuracy was not bad. It can be accurate. I'm kind of kicking myself for not putting the dot sight on the top. Next time I have a situation like this, I'll probably just take it with me. The iron sights are a little hard to see. That peep sight is really small, and there is no flip aperture on the back that gives you more of a view, you know, a wider, whatever you call it, field of view from the back. So again, great gun, fun to shoot, okay, but it's going to need some sort of tuning, or definitely need to take a look at it and see what's going on. I'm going to disassemble and clean it, take a look at everything again, cycle some rounds through it just to see if it extracts them properly and see what's going on, and we'll go from there. So there you go, guys, there you have it. I want to thank you for watching today, guys. I want you to please like or subscribe. You can check me out over on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, gunchannels.com. I've got a Saturday morning podcast I'm doing more or less every Saturday when I have time. That's called The Caliber Corner, so make sure you check that out. You can also support me over on Patreon with patreon.com/TravisP11. And again, this firearm was provided to us from SS Pawn in Lexington, Nebraska. Contact info will be on the bottom of this video. Give them a call if you're looking for any awesome firearms. And again, this firearm does belong in the private collection of Stan, the owner of SS Pawn, and he loans me these firearms to bring to you guys. So thanks for joining me today for this little piece of gun history, this little rare gem that's out there in the shooting world. Ammo Cat's wanting to jump in the camera right now. All right, we'll let her stay there, so I think she smells the pizza. Okay, all right, so thank you guys for joining us today. I want you to have fun, I want you to be safe, and we will talk to you soon, okay? Have a great week, guys. All right, bye-bye.